Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today and for watching my talk. Also, I want to thank anyone who will come and watch it later. I also want to thank Cherise Marie for being such a wonderful host today and for offering us this space with a chance to learn so much from each other. I would also invite you to leave any questions or any comment that you might have in the chat below, because I'd love to support you. And so I will certainly come back in the days to come and answer anyone who asks questions or leaves a comment. Okay, my name is My name is Elisa. I'm Italian. If you were wondering about my accent, although I've been living in the US for 10 years, I am still, always a little bit self-conscious of how I speak. Anyway, um, I am a medium and a spiritual teacher and an intuitive guide. And what I mean by that is that I do communicate with the other side, whether it's a loved one in spirit or maybe one of our spiritual guides. And since I can remember, really, I've always been a messenger for other people who found themselves maybe at a point in life where they were feeling confused and looking for answers. And I know that this is probably something that, we all feel at different times in our lives, which is pretty normal. And especially probably these days, right, with everything that is going on and all these changes and things that we cannot always seem to place or make sense of, right? And I think that it's very important, especially for the times that we are living in, to reflect about purpose, life purpose. Okay, this is what I want to talk to you about today. Our life purpose is really an expression of the divine blueprint of our soul. Okay, and my hope is that at the end of this talk, at the end of the time here with you, you will leave maybe feeling inspired or with a clearer understanding of, what purpose really is. Because sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of confusion. And maybe even some ideas on what to do next. What is your next steps? Okay, and I will help you actually towards the end. I would like to guide you into a very, very easy exercise. Okay, because sometimes we feel like maybe we tend to complicate things, but it's so much more simple and attainable, really. Okay, and maybe before I get into the story that I want to tell you, I would invite you to take a moment and maybe ask yourself what guided you, what prompted you to come and listen to this. Maybe you see the title and it catches your eyes, and that makes sense. But sometimes there is something else, right, that is guiding us. Maybe you're aware that you're looking for answers. Maybe there is something else. So if you would like just, to let me know in the comments what you are hoping to get out of this meeting today. Okay, I would really love it if I could see and hear you, but this is what we're going to do today. And so I'd love to go back to your messages and give you with my ideas or comments if you would like. Okay, so as I was saying, I think that one of the main maybe doubts is really around what purpose actually is. And sometimes we might just associate it with like the job that I do, right, or what I do in life. But it's so much more than this. It's really like what we are being, right? It's a divine blueprint of our soul, as I said, that unfolds. And when we finally recognize who we are and put our whole being into action, okay, that's when our purpose really starts to flourish, to expand with us. Um, and well, my story is a little bit of um, how can I say, a very clear example of what I'm talking about. That is, so as I said before, right? Like I usually who has like spiritual gifts and maybe is very sensitive, and maybe that is true for you too, right? Or receive messages or has intuitive hints, tends also to be, first of all, not that much aware of it, and also at the same time um, tends to hide in the closet at one point in life. And that's a little bit what happened to me. Because I started out thinking that that was the most natural thing in the world, until eventually I realized that it wasn't. And as many of us have done, I decided to hide myself in the famous spiritual closet. Um, I was dedicating my time to art and music and theater, and that was very fun and everything. And of course, my spiritual experiences were always happening, right? But it was just like I was keeping everything for myself, right? Not really sharing or opening up about it with anybody. Until, and I was in my 30s already, at one point, my soul um, showed up and said, well, sorry, but we have other plans for you. And I started noticing like a longing for something different. And it was, you know, kind of weird because on paper, everything was going well. I had a good job that I liked. I was working as a teacher in a preschool. At the same time, I was making music. I was living with my then boyfriend. So on paper, everything, or from the outside, everything, seemed okay, seemed good. But there was something that was still missing, right? And I could not really pinpoint what that was. So little by little, everything basically that I had built so far disappeared, crumbled down. I lost the job that I had. There was a whole series of events that, as I say, your soul will come and will pull you from your sleeves. But many times the wake up call is not easy or fun, at least not right away. So if that's something that's been happening to you, I just want to let you know that there's the light at the end of the tunnel, as they say. Um, and eventually, that series of events and the crumbling down of everything that I had built so far really left me with realizing that I needed to be on a healing journey, which I started. And of course, the healing journey never really ends. But it helped me realize and face and solve, thankfully, also many aspects, many traumas that I didn't even know that they were there, right? And they were all, in a way, blocking my true purpose from coming through. And this is the case for every one of us to, one degree or another. So do not ever be ashamed if you realize that you have negative thoughts or that you're feeling blocked or confused, or, if your life has been full of trauma, actually, the way out is through. And many times really realizing and healing and letting go is what will let us to expand our purpose and also our soul mission. Okay, so that's why I wanted to share this a little piece of my story with you that happened maybe 15 more years ago. And the good thing is also that, as you work on yourself, you don't have to put your life on hold, actually, because I have been looking and refining what I felt was my purpose, right? All along these many years. And this is something also very interesting that I think you should know, especially as women, right? I think that it's predominantly probably a female audience here, but many of us, maybe when we were teenagers, that happened to me, we were wondering about our purpose, right? That is actually the probably most important question that we can ask ourselves, right? What am I here for? What am I here to do? Why am I here? And so when we go through that question in our early years, right? Of course, we get different answers. Sometimes we don't really get answers, or they're not very clear. And then it's almost normal that we go on and build a life many times that is not that very close to our truth. So, as I was saying, what happens is that, especially when we're very sensitive, especially if we're very intuitive, especially if we're very creative for some reason, we tend to be influenced, right? But by what is around us, other people's opinion, judgment, and so on. And, sometimes, as I said, we end up closing our truth in the famous closet, or we end up even feeling ashamed of it. We literally part ways, or completely disregard our dreams and everything that used to move us. I am sure if I could ask you to raise your hand who has ever felt like that, I would see a lot of hands coming up. And the very good news about this is, though, that normally around 45 years of age, and for the next, let's say, more or less about 10 years, right? We do get a chance of a do-over. So everything that builds up to that moment can include actually an awakening. And when we enter into that phase of our life, actually we begin the most important part, that is realizing what it's not us, realizing what is not part of who we really are, of our truth, remembering our gifts, the things that we used to love to do and that came so natural to us. And that many times, just because they came so natural to us, we made the mistake of thinking that there was nothing special in it. And instead, that's exactly where the special is. Okay. And when I say special, I also want to make sure that it doesn't have to be anything out of this world, really, because we all have different gifts and talents. We all have strengths, but also we all have blocks. And really, like, our life purpose expanding comes from expanding the awareness of who we really are. And when our life purpose, when our soul starts to wake us up, as I said, it can be maybe sometimes a painful process or a scary process. It doesn't always have to be, of course, but it can happen. And it will though help us to let go of everything that does not belong to us. And as I said, it's a process, okay? In our life is not really made by one and done. We cannot change one thing just overnight, or doing, I don't know, one thing, right? One exercise. It's like pretending to have wonderful abs just by doing abs for 20 minutes one day. It's never going to happen, right? And for the spiritual part of us, it's the same. But we need to remember that we are all finding ourselves probably at different stages of awareness, at different stages of maybe development even, okay? And we just need to trust. And when we let go, and we trust that our life is taking us somewhere, right? That our soul is guiding us. That's actually when we will finally hear and know and understand the guidance more easily. So when we think about purpose, we also want to make sure that we remember that there are three main things, I would say, three main aspects. Okay, the first one is that there is like an overarching, a bigger purpose, right? That is the same for every one of us, which is we are here to overcome the lessons that we decided to take on. Okay, um, and we are here also to actually live, right, and become the best that we can be. Okay, this is something that's true for everybody going through life and expanding. Okay, and it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are. This is why you're here, right? This is like the answer to the question, why am I here? You're here to learn. You're here to overcome the lessons that maybe you collected over many lifetimes. You are here to learn through your relationships. These are all things that are, common to life and to everybody. And then there is the idea that, not there isn't really one purpose that is more special, as I said before, or bigger or more important than another. Because in the end, we are the same at the eyes of in the eyes of God, right? Nobody's more important. What matters the most is that we all play really our part, that we're all fully do what we came here to do and to become. In fact, if you think about it and if you look around, I don't think that we can really tell that a lot of people are living their purpose, right? There is a lot of confusion and a lot of sufferance. And I want to look at this also with positive lenses, right? With positive glasses, thinking that this is maybe our chance to put into question what we have built so far and to look at what else we can build in what different way, right? We can build it from now on. And that goes, both for the general purpose that we all have and for the special purpose that each one of us is here to to express. So, like your gifts and your talents, they can be activated, right? Your strength, they can be found if you really don't know what they are. And of course, also knowing what gets in the way of you becoming your best self, okay? Becoming your higher self, becoming the fully expanded version of who you are. And then you can decide to, or maybe you have decided before coming here, right? You have decided to express those gifts, maybe being a gardener or being a police officer or by being a stay-at-home mom. Okay, so what we do to express our purpose matters, but there isn't one that is more important than the other. This is so necessary to understand, in my opinion. And we will know, because normally the moment that we begin to put the pieces together, it's like creating this huge puzzle with everything that we've ever known and seen and felt over our life and our experiences and everything to make sense really of the puzzle of life. And as we build that puzzle, we finally make sense of everything, maybe even the things that before we considered not that important, as I said in the beginning, just because they come easy to us, right? So there are so many places where we can look to really find out the clues. And the other important thing is that reconnecting with your purpose is not how can I say, an end point, right? There is no end. But reconnecting with your purpose is really the beginning of finally something new. And I don't think that it's just us running around and trying to find it. it's really also about being open and receptive and let the signs and the clues come to us, speak to us, guide us. Okay. There is a lot of um, mind interference, okay, that goes on all day long, every day, not only from other people's judgments and ideas of who we should be or what we should be doing, all right, but also from our own mind, because the mind is the mind and its job is just to protect us and keep us safe where we are. Our purpose, on the opposite end, is really here to shake us, to wake us up to who we really are. And because we have free will, we can end up messing up things or, making misaligned choices. And also, because we have free will, we also get to take responsibility, full responsibility for every choice that we make. Because according to spiritual laws, really, like there is no pointing fingers, right? Like our choices are our own. They happen for a reason, that's for sure, but we, end up always making the choices. And so there are all these components that are at play. But the most amazing thing is that as we set the intention, right, to open ourselves up to receive our purpose, to receive messages from our soul through our intuition, for example, and signs, right, from our loved ones or our guides. And we don't need to be or have any special gift, all right? Just the desire to trust and have faith in ourselves. As that happens, you will find that the closer you get, the closer the sense of peace that you will feel. And this is really, in my opinion, probably the biggest piece, that when falls in place, it will start to make everything feel different. And still, I am very honest. There will be work to do, probably according to or depending on what you're up to, right? What your story is. There will still be work to do, but it will feel so completely different. The moment that you connect with your purpose, really, you will know. And you will know when you will make choices out of it, it will become easier. And I think that that is the most important thing that we want to come away with. All right. Maybe peace is not, is not something that we tend to think as the first and most important part of our lives, right? These days are so complicated. We have our jobs, careers, maybe the business that we're trying to build, our family, our kids, anything and anyone that matters and has a an important role in our lives. So there is so much going on, but as somebody who has helped a lot of people see their gifts, reconnect with their gifts, embracing their purpose, moving towards their purpose, I know that the peace is a key element. And I know that for being true for me as well, right? So in the end, I really want to encourage you, right, and inspire you to not let go and to also do not let all the noise outside of you, and there is so much around us, drag you in the wrong direction if it doesn't feel really right, or only because something feels or looks good on somebody else. We need to be true to ourselves. And, maybe somebody might think, well, I don't know how to listen to my intuition, or I am not sure that I have one. Because sometimes we do have this kind of doubts. Of course, you have an intuition. You just have to learn to listen to the right voice within, okay? And it really goes back to like the old saying of follow your heart, right? Because because your heart always will kind of like project a light on that something that your mind will fight you for, like that's scary, that's not good, you're not good enough, you can't go there, you can't do that, etc., etc., etc. But if you do what you can to, even every day for a few minutes, drop from your head space into your heart space and learn little by little to listen to what's coming, then you will find it easier and easier and easier. Okay? We don't want to make things complicated. We don't have to connect, or not right away, if that's the case, with the archangels, the celestial beings, the whoever, whatever that is, the guides, etc., etc. Already, our soul is connected to us, and that is the most important connection that you want to build on. And you can start just right now. And even if you don't have an answer about your purpose yet, or you feel like you started your journey and things are coming up, that is just normal. Just keep on listening, right? Keep on paying attention, because overcomplicating things is not gonna do it. So as I said a little bit in the beginning, part of my work, aside from helping people reconnecting with their loved ones, right? Because sometimes that's the space that we are at. And we just want to know that they're fine and well and get that message, right, that we really needed to hear. I also help people, the sensitive, the creatives, the intuitives that feel stuck or are wanting to understand how to navigate whatever they are going through in the moment, right? So that they can move forward with their lives. And so I prepared a couple of things, and you can see it you can see more details by clicking on the link that you will find in the comments. I prepared a special complimentary spiritual assessment, right? Where if everything that I've shared with you so far resonated and touched that special place inside of you, I invite you to sign up for that. It will be like a 20-minute time that we spend together, where we will look together at your life path, right? Where you're coming from, where you're at, and where things seem to be moving towards. So that also I can help you identify, your allies and the things that you need to overcome. And of course, I can then explain to you how I can help you move forward on your path. I do have a program that is coming up in October that is called A Quest for True Purpose. Okay, and it's going to be like a 7-week class where we're going to work live. It's not recorded. Okay, and I will give you more details about that. So when you check out the link that you will find in the comment, make sure also to sign up for the newsletter, because in that way you will be receiving all the details about the program, right, that is coming up. And otherwise, right, we can work together in one-to-one sessions. So just to leave you, right, with something to get, how can I say, get started or get inspired by, right? I received these 3 questions the other morning when I was connecting with my spiritual team. That's how I call it. 3 questions that you can ask yourself. And I actually would like to guide you, if you're open, into this very short exercise, okay? Just to also show you how actually easy it can be to receive answers when we need them. And of course, there is always refinement that need to happen, but this always, I feel like it can be a very good start. All right, so if you're not driving or doing something else that is dangerous, right? If you're just sitting on the couch or wherever, I would invite you to close your eyes for a moment, okay? Just close your eyes and reconnect with your breath. And I say reconnect because many times we don't realize that we are not breathing, right? As I was doing when I started this presentation, for example, I definitely wasn't breathing, okay? So close your eyes and focus on breathing 3 times, in and out, okay? And now, as you are breathing and relaxing, okay, you wanna make sure that you let go of any tension that you feel in your body. Just let it go. As you let the air out, you also wanna let the tension out, okay? And just easy breezy. Keep on breathing a little bit more. And now I will read you these 3 questions. And I really want you to just go with the first answer that comes. Okay, the first answer that comes is the right one. Don't overthink it, don't overdo it, it doesn't really matter. Okay? And these are just very easy question. Okay, so do not how can I say, let your mind fantasize or make a whole story. All right? Okay. So let it all go. And don't hold on to any thought right now. And as you feel yourself dropping right into this space of calm, of presence, answer this question. Am I at peace with where I am now in life? Okay, and whatever came, just keep it. What do I know is missing? And once again, be open, listen. It could be a name, a color, a feeling. Pay attention. Last question. Am I willing to dedicate my time and energy to the next steps that I need to take? Once again, feel the answer as you feel it where you're feeling it. And if you want, you can also go back in a few days, okay, and redo this. And I want you to know that peace is definitely not a lukewarm sentiment. It's very defined. It's either or it's not. And sometimes we might feel at peace with some parts of our lives, and sometimes some parts of our lives do not have peace at all. And what is required of us to really step up, okay, and expand in our life is to be honest with ourselves. And as I said in the beginning, if we listen to the peace, we will know. Is this for me? Is this not for me? Does this feel right? Does not feel right? Okay, and be honest with your answer. It's okay if right now you don't feel like you're ready to dedicate the time and energy to the next steps, because at least you are now aware of the steps, or you now have an idea of steps that you might need to take. Okay, I am I am going to say thank you. Thanks so much for bearing with me. And I really hope that this was helpful. Please let me know what you think. Leave the comments or any questions that you have below. I would really love to go back and read. And, if you have also, if you need any maybe feedback on any of the answers or how the exercise went for you, feel free to leave your thoughts, because I would love to just, connect with your energy eventually and give you feedback. Okay. Well, thank you so much again. I really wish you a great rest of your day. Bye.